Welcome back to the GSL Up and Downs. It's time for ByuL to face another Protoss. He took out his first Protoss opponent, SOS, with a Baneling bust. Wonder what he's got planned for Hero.
You know, we asked earlier to, we asked people to show us how they watch the GSL. I can't really spoil it, but just a bit of an announcement or just a hint. Watch out for what Naniwa tweets within the next few days, because how he watches the GSL, this is actually epic. I'm not gonna say anything else, we're gonna find out soon enough, but that will definitely make some headlines. Right now we have another topic though. We have Hero up against ByuL, and you can certainly see our ranking with ByuL and Bomber leading the ranks. So what's going to happen here is if Hero loses against ByuL, then he is not able to claim a Code S spot today. He still has a chance to be third in the group, but that's all that he can accomplish if he does not take down ByuL now.
Yeah, he absolutely needs this win, and so far ByuL has looked pretty good. Unstoppable, in fact, 2-0. Really nice play in his second game in particular. The first game he took a little bit of a risk against SOS and paid off, but in Hero I think we're going to see something a little bit more standard. Luckily for Hero though, he gets to play on his favorite Protoss vs. Zerg map, Cloud Kingdom.
It always breaks my heart when I see Hero in such a posture. I hope that he's okay and that he can really show us his strength now. Every single time I see him like this, I just want to give him a hug and tell him, please, get rid of your emotions when you're in the booth. I wonder why that is in Korea. He feels so much more pressure when he plays in Korea compared to overseas. But he's up against a very strong opponent. You just said how well ByuL played today already, and that's so true. So Hero, it is a map that he loves against Zerg. He loves Cloud Kingdom. It's his map against Zerg. It's the best map that he could get in this matchup.
Exactly. This is what he would want to pick if he had the choice. You don't have a choice in up and downs, but he's so lucky he gets to play on it. What does ByuL have planned? ByuL, I'm sure, has studied and knows that this is the map that Hero likes to play on. Will we see another all-in, or is he going to go for late game? Let's find out. This is Hero's only Protoss vs. Zerg in his group at the Up and Downs, casted by Calder and Wolf.
To the top right, we have our Team Liquid player, down 2 games in this Up and Down group. It is
Liquid Hero.
Lost earlier on Daybreak against ByuL. Then he lost to Bomber against both Terran players. At the bottom left we have his opponent for LGIM, a former Fnatic player.
LGIM ByuL.
His nickname translates into Star.
Yeah, he's 2-0, and if he wins this, he'll take the first place in the group from now. Be the first player to get 3 wins.
And for Hero, this is important because if he loses, then he is 0-3, then he cannot get first or second anymore. He can still get third and get the wildcard for the wildcard group on Friday.
Yep, and here comes the probe. Scouts in here. You will see that spawning pool get placed. There's no way that ByuL can try to go for a hatch first. Yeah, he doesn't even try it. Hero, on the other hand, plans Nexus first. Very early probe scout, just wants to be careful. You already saw what happened to SOS, doesn't want to let it happen to him.
The last time that I saw Hero play on this map was at Pro League, when I was in the studio at Shinnerim, and he had a strategy that he really likes on this map. You basically start with a Stargate, and you try to do as much damage with your Phoenixes as possible. You retreat before you have the danger of being fungled. And then you just go back and get your third base. And the thing that Hero does is he doesn't really saturate the third base. He pumps out Immortals the entire time he's harassing, one after another, and he started attacking with 4 to 5 Immortals and a Wall Prison at the third base. You go in, you lift as many specimens as you can, and he crushed his opponent. And it was a strategy that he played before. He really likes it on this map, but it's only one of the weapons that he has in his arsenal.
Yeah, he only has one Protoss vs. Zerg to play against. His ByuL is the only Zerg player in the group, so if he decides to use this strategy, ByuL may have already considered that possibility. We'll see though. I expect Stargate in general, but I'm not sure what type that we're going to see.
This is definitely a situation where you have a position for each and every single one of these players where they can prepare a lot for a certain map and a strategy if they check the VODs. And it's always the question of how much time do you invest in preparing against a certain player, especially for a certain matchup. How many opponents do you face? And this is the only Zerg that Hero has to face today. ByuL, on the other hand, has to deal with two Protoss players, and he didn't really show a lot. But now those Lings are getting into the main base just before the cannon is up.
Just about half a second later, and he would have been fine.
Okay, what does this mean? The Zerglings in the main base, they're not going to kill the economy, they're not going to win him the game, but they will give him a lead. And the reason why that is first of all, the tech cannot be hidden anymore. So before we have a Stalker in this game, if ByuL pays attention, he will keep the Zerglings alive. He might get lucky and take down a probe or two, and even if he doesn't, he will consistently just annoy Hero and make sure that Hero is losing mining time, and that he has to divide his attention by focusing on the Zerglings and at the same time executing his build order perfectly.
Yeah, and I think he actually is not going to get any kills here because Hero's micro is so good. But it's just very annoying, very taxing. Hero actually put his probes in the second gas a little bit late because of this. It affects his gas mining pretty significantly. Now the Zealot is going to just have to run around here, and Hero has to be very concerned about what ByuL is going to do next as well.
The timings that you try to hit in a PvZ and in a lot of matchups in general are so close. Sometimes a 10-second window can make all the difference. And if you have to just focus on Zerglings, if you have your probes off the mineral patches, defend against the Zerglings the entire time, this is a snowball effect. You will lose a second here, a second there, and this will all accumulate to a very, very small window. Your timings are messed up, and it affects your play. So this is very annoying for Hero. You don't want to have to deal with Zerglings early on. He was lucky that there were only 2 of them. Worst case scenario would have been 4 in the main base. That's an entire different story. But now with the Stalker, he can finally kill them, and now he can also start with his tech.
Yeah, 3 probes killed in total for ByuL. And the tech for Hero, probably going to be Stargate. He hasn't chosen it yet.
He actually started with this +1 attack upgrade first, so it's also not going to be some really fast Immortal push that we see from Parting. So that's already him. I feel that's actually him reacting to what just happened. Yep. Changing things up a little bit.
And of course, this is something that ByuL already knows about, +1.
Yeah.
It is robotics coming out. We could see some sort of push. We could also see 4 gateway Warp Prism attack with some sentries and then of course Zealot Warpends. We've seen that get a little bit more popular. And the Overlord for ByuL is just barely not going to see this robotics. That was really close, but he does not get the vision. Meanwhile, he goes for a little bit of a Zergling run by. Very close to getting in there, but does not.
Yeah, if he wanted to, he could have snuck a few Zerglings in, if not for a warp in. But he loses
a lot. Yep. He would have lost a lot either way, and that's a shame for ByuL. He starts 10 roaches right now. Very conservative with his drone count, only up to 57 before he starts his roach production because he's a little bit scared about what Hero might do.
And Hero is getting a 3rd base. He already has the Twilight Council up, he's getting additional gateways, and the Ling is getting into the main. That is horrible for Hero.
Sees
everything scouted.
Sees the Twilight Council.
Yeah.
Stalkers get spotted here. Hero is an open book now, and ByuL has all the time to prepare to make these Lings start his lair tech. This is horrible.
Yeah. Here is an open book, and ByuL is reading not only the first chapter, but he's skipping all the way to the middle of it. Has all the information now, knows about the Twilight Council, it knows of course perfectly well that Hero is trying to attempt to go for a 3rd, that he tries to deny, but he's moving in with those roaches, pressuring his opponent. The Warp Prism so far not really useful. Yeah. There's this attempted snipe on the cannon. Can he get the Forge at the gateway too?
He wanted to hit this 4 gateway Warp Prism attack. Now ByuL is on top of him since he saw what was coming in. This is really smart that Hero has his core back there, because with the core back there, he's not going to be able to snipe that, but the Forge will be gone. And that is not really important for upgrades, but it means no more cannons, and it means that the sentries are a little bit more exposed. And yeah, the upgrades are important, but I mean, this is a matter of survival for Hero right now.
Well, ByuL moves back, so he's not going to commit overly to this. He's going into the 4th base. The Forge is now being built in the main, but with the Twilight Council ready, he could have gone into the +2 attack upgrade, and now he's definitely missing out on those. The wall also, as you said, is not closed, so the Zerglings are always trying to pressure Hero a little bit, and he's just losing control over this game. The Warp Prism at the bottom right might give him this control back again, and give him an opening, because so far ByuL hasn't seen it, and as I say it, the Warp Prism moves right into the Overlord range.
Yep. He warps in regardless though, 2 Zealots down to the bottom right. Actually, no, it was Warpins in his main. He has Stalkers down there. And that 4th base that you talked about earlier, not being used just yet, but he will use it soon. These Stalkers are going to have to be picked up. Hero saves them, but Hero's 3rd base is not going to happen for a really long time if ByuL doesn't want it to, because he's got so many lings, making 16 more. It's going to put him up to about 65 lings. Not all together though, so Hero might actually be able to start this.
You can really see that this Forge that he had to rebuild affects his upgrade policy now, because with a late +2, this +1 armor upgrade that is finishing for ByuL now will really help him for a long time, whereas opposed to an earlier started upgrade where what a Hero usually would have done if his Forge wasn't killed. And now the Warp Prism doesn't do anything, as he said.
Yeah, that was such a close call with that Warpin on the Zealot to get the Lings out of there. He almost got into the main base. Now we have Pathfinder Glance finishing up with 8 Infestors on the way. ByuL is massively ahead in this game, not only in supply, but with his composition. Yeah, Hero has the Robotic Support Bay finishing up here, but at any moment, ByuL will start Aspire because he knows that that's the next step. He can use his 8 Infestors before there's a lot of Colossi to actually try to kill this 3rd base if he wants to. He doesn't even have to, he already has a 4th base.
Hero knows that he's behind, and I think he's going to try to hit a pre-Broodlord timing.
That's the best choice for him.
It's very difficult though. He can't even really defend his 3rd here. That's a big problem. Hero was just moving out of position.
Bad luck here. He actually barely defends it. If he had been there, it would have been super easy, but that was a really close call.
There is the Spire and the Hive Tech, and ByuL knows that he can get away with it. There's not a lot of danger to him.
I really like this Stalker Warp Prism. It's finally getting shut down by these Infestors, but it was certainly a pretty cool addition to Hero's army. It didn't...
Oh, nice blink. Yeah. 1 Infestor dying. Can you get a second one? Not quite.
It didn't do a ton of damage, but it did enough. It definitely paid off.
He's sniping the Nexus. Yeah. He's just going for the Nexus.
Target
he doesn't
down,
care.
And it won't matter. With +1 Carapace, these Roaches have too many hit points, and he kills the Nexus. Hero is in a lot of trouble now. He starts +3. He's got range on the way, but ByuL has all the cards with that Spire finishing up. All he needs to do now is get Corruptors out to hold the Colossi push, and he should be totally fine. He can start Broodlords. The game is basically his.
Hero has to make a choice now. Do I go for the 3 bases? Do I just use this as an attack momentum? But the thing is, he already went up to 62 Harvesters, and with 62 Harvesters, you want to have 3 bases. It's too much. If he would still be at, let's say, 50 Harvesters, he probably would have just said, okay, well, you know what, I'm gonna go for an attack right now, because that would have meant more army for him. But right now, he does not have the army supply, and he also doesn't have the tech. The +3 is not even done yet, because the Forge was killed earlier. So ByuL now, the one who is the aggressor, who tries to move out, stops of course his opponent as much as possible, buying time for the Corruptors, as he has to deal with this 1 Colossi. 2 actually.
I cannot believe he didn't fungal those units when they were in the choke point.
Burrow is ready.
2 Infestors there.
Burrow is not ready, that's why he can't save them, but the run by.
Into the 3rd base, Hero may lose it again. There's a lot of Zealots warping. He has to use his Roaches to actually fight and target this down. And Hero still has a strong army here. The Spine Crawlers are not ready. This game is definitely not over. He's going to catch the Infestors at the front. Fungals go down on the sentries, but he doesn't have enough. He needs another fungal, and this is looking really good for Hero, this engagement, but the problem is still that army at his 3rd.
He can't sack the 4th base. He doesn't have to take it. He wants to save it, and here come the Corruptors. He might be able to, but even if he loses it, as long as he makes a stand in the 3rd, he is in a good position. He took down the 3rd base of Hero again, and those Roaches are now streaming back and trying to flank Hero's army. Hero is still 60 supply behind.
And the flank comes in after all the Colossi are dead. As the Lings spawn, a perfect time for ByuL to come in and clean this up. There's no more force energy. The Immortals are gone. And so are Hero's chances of taking one of these 2 up and down spots. The Greater Spire is started. +3 for Hero, finishing right now when it matters the least, when he has 13 Stalkers and 1 Zealot that are hiding, cowering at his natural, waiting for these Lings and Roaches to come and force a cancel on the Nexus again.
He has no Colossus anymore. The attack upgrade would of course been really important for those high DPS units, but now we have the Stalkers blinking for their life. So far they aren't fungal, there are no Infestors, but the rest of ByuL's army is moving in from behind. He's losing too much. The 3rd base, he might have to cancel it here. It's just such an unfortunate situation for Hero. He's at half the supply of his opponent.
Yep, and this is just, there's no way. The Greater Spire finishes up here. Here down to 74 supply. The last of the Stalkers get targeted down. He blinks away, but more roaches come in. Look at the mini-map. It just shows the units go marching, not 1 by 1, but something like 12 by 12. There's so many of the Lings coming through here. He's going to have to cancel his Nexus again.
ByuL is just giving him not a single chance to stay in this game.
No room to breathe, and he's running in right now. Hero down 100 supply.
He's morphing the Broodlords in his opponent's main base.
That's, if that's not an insult, I don't know what is.
That is, well, that is
a diss,
definitely...
man.
Well, Proxy Nexus, you have Mules being called down. That's definitely him taunting his opponent a little bit and showing him how far ahead he is.
It's certainly handy to port from there when you're trying to end the game, for sure. He does lose, actually, almost both of them for that reason, but...
Hero is holding on as long as he can, but this game is, of course, over.
Totally over. The gateways are about to fall here, and once they do, there's going to be nothing to hold back. The ByuL flood that's going to break through.
ByuL is going to take a 3-0 in this group, and Hero, even after the third game without a single map win, he's still trying to defend, but he's running out of force fields. GG! Game over, and ByuL in a great spot to advance to Code S. Hero, a player that so many people thought would take the first place. He is showing nerves today, and he is at 0-3.
I would have put him as one of the top contenders to get the Code S spots, but now he has no chance. And look at that ByuL smile. That ByuL smile made the guy in the song make a weird noise, man, when he saw it. That's such a good smile that ByuL put out there. And given the situation in the group now, ByuL takes quote-unquote first place in our current standings, but we have seen a lot of players go 3-0 and just take that spot, and if ByuL follows suit with the other players we've seen so far in the up and down groups, the other groups we've seen this week, then he should be able to get out.
Yeah. A great game here by ByuL. In the early Zerglings that get in, really important. Just throwing the build order of Hero off. Then he snipes the gateway, he snipes the forge, he is able to intercept the War Prism. All these things just added up, and Hero is never able to get into his flow, into the mindset.
Yep. You know, now, if I'm not mistaken, ByuL only has to win 1 of 2 more games, and then he'll win. He'll be out. So if he loses both, then it's not for sure, but if he wins 1 of the 2, I'm pretty sure he's out. Genius is going to be one of our 2 next opponents, and he is going up against ByuL. See how he does in this Protoss versus Terran.
Genius is also in a very, very difficult spot here. So far, he did not do well. He's 0-2 in the group, and for him, the situation presents itself that if he loses this match, he's not only not able to get into Code S with claiming first or second, but he will also not be able anymore to advance and get the wildcard spot. So if Genius loses now, he is straight down to Code A.
Yeah. This is a really important match for him, and what makes this more important is that this is his first showing for Azubu. He's got to make a good stance and show his new team that he's worth it, and so far his results have spoken for themselves, but it's always important your first match on the new team.
And talking about the results, at this point, if Genius can hope for a tie situation. That's the only thing that works for him. And if he wants to pull it off, he needs to win against ByuL, he needs to win against Hero, and he needs to win against ByuL. This is definitely not going to be easy at all. ByuL, on the other hand, everything is still in for him. He is on 1 win and 1 loss. He wants to get the 2nd win now. And Genius hasn't won a single map today just yet. Another Protoss versus Terran for him. Belcher Vestige, it's not Daybreak.
Yeah.
Let's see if ByuL is trying to break his own record here and go for 1 hour and 40 minutes.
We'll see. You know, this is such a great map for Terran versus Protoss, though. Genius, on the other hand, has been one of very few Protoss players to actually be able to hold a 3rd base on maps like this, and I would not be surprised to see him do it again here. He loves to do it with Stargate. This is a totally different matchup, though, where he's going to have to be creative. I don't think we're going to see a hidden base, but we've seen him do it already in this group.
And it would have paid out for him. If not for Bomber's timing, in the long game, the hidden base would have helped him a lot. He would have been able to capitalize on his additional income. and then eventually overrun Bomber, but as it is, the StarTale player attacked too early for Genius to capitalize on this extra economy that he had. Now we're going into another Terran versus Protoss. We're going into the game on Belcher Vestige, where Genius has another chance. If he loses now, he is in Code A. There is nothing that he can do about it. Not even the wildcard spot would be available to him if he takes a loss at the hands of Yan Prime. The game is live, ladies and gentlemen. We are ready to go. I hope that you are ready for the match. Yan time once again here at the GSL Up and Downs Group D, brought to you by ByuL.